Hello everyone and welcome to my class's discussion video. This subject is highly controversial. If you've been on the forums, you're probably well aware of that by now. I'm not going to bother to break down the Holy Trinity because if you're an MMO gamer, I'm pretty sure you know what it is. Basically, what it boils down to is everyone is concerned that the game is going to devolve into something along the lines of Guild Wars 2 or Neverwinter Nights. Honestly, guys, I don't really see that happening with this game because it's so completely different from anything that anybody is used to. I mean, sure, Guild Wars 2 and Neverwinter Nights used a new system for classes, but they still had one foot in the past. With EverQuest Next, Sony's set to completely rewrite the rules. Some of you might remember EverQuest 1 and the effect that it had on people. It just blew everybody away. It was just something that nobody really ever saw before. I mean, sure, we had 2D MMOs and things like that, but nothing like EverQuest. It was completely immersive, it pulled people in, and it just did not let go. It was a world that you wanted to live in. You actually wanted to live in Norath. I remember reading about how people said that the game was just completely ahead of its time. Now, I wasn't a part of the game when it started. I got started with EverQuest Online Adventures for PlayStation 2, but it had the same exact effect on me. I never seen anything like it. I never played anything like it in my life. The moment I first logged in, I was just completely lost, but I was mystified at the same time. I remember running around and just looking at things, thinking, wow, this place looks absolutely massive and I have no idea what to do. The sense of adventure was just phenomenal. I mean, you could run in one direction for an hour. I just never seen anything like that before. And the community was phenomenal. I remember being chased by a couple of spiders and people actually stopped to help me. Those guys actually ended up rolling at alts and joining me. They helped me along and they let me into the guild that they created. It was small, it was nothing too crazy. I mean, the game was pretty new, so everybody was just starting out. So, I mean, it was at that moment where I really got to experience things that I'd never experienced before. And if anybody's going to bring something new to the table like that, I think Sony's going to be the ones to do it. Most developers have just gotten lazy. They're just interested in copying World of Warcraft and nobody seems to want to do anything original. I think people are really going to respond to EverQuest Next because it's completely different. It's completely original and it's just never been done before. So as different as it may be to EverQuest 1, EverQuest Online Adventures and the games like that, I think it's going to be quite similar as well. Anyway, enough with the past. It's time to move on. It's time for EverQuest Next. The first thing they talked about at the panels was how they wanted the classes to be fun to play and fun to look at. They gave an example about the warrior being somewhat like the Incredible Hulk. I mean, they really want to convey the feeling that you're playing this big hulking crazy maniac swinging a sword around. They want you to feel kind of clumsy and just really beastly. And I mean, I think you can really see that when you look at the videos of the reveal. One of the coolest things that they talked about was that every class is going to have a distinct look. You're going to be able to tell just by looking at the way they carry themselves what class they are. People that invest time in the game are going to actually be able to tell what class you are just by the way you're holding your sword or your weapon. I think just that feature alone is pretty hardcore. I mean, if they don't have a system where you can con things and see what they are, and you have to actually know by looking at them, I mean, that right there gets you more immersed in the game. At this point, I'm not even certain if you're going to have a con system at all. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell if it's going to completely whoop your ass just by conning it. You might have to find out the hard way, you know. You might have to look at it and say, well, that looks like it's a little bit too much for me at this point. Your class is going to determine your armor, your weapons, your weapon abilities, and your character abilities. So just like normal, every class is going to have its armor. You know, warriors are going to be stuck with plate, and casters are typically going to be in cloth, and then you're going to have your leather-wearing classes. One of the coolest things that they talked about was that weapons aren't just going to be statistics. They're actually going to have their own abilities associated with them. So a long sword might have different abilities than a short sword, or a sword with a different name. Not only that, but different character classes are going to actually have different abilities. So a Shadow Knight's abilities might not necessarily be the same as a warrior's abilities. I really like that idea. It just means that you're not going to get bored because there's going to be so many different abilities with so many different weapons, so many different options. So you're going to know just by the way the sword is swung and the things that happen when that sword is swung, if it's a Shadow Knight that's swinging it, for example. It's going to be a defining characteristic of your class. Now you're going to have 4 different character ability types: movement, offensive, defensive, and utility. Now, not all the classes are going to have all four of these. For example, a Blade Master might have one of each, whereas a Rogue will have 2 offensive abilities and 2 utility abilities. A Wizard will have 2 movement abilities, 1 offensive and 1 defensive ability. And a Tempest would have 2 movement abilities, 1 offensive and 1 utility ability. Now, you can collect every class on one character, which is really cool. It's not anything new. We've seen it before with games that go as far back as, say, Final Fantasy XI. But the cool thing about it is that you can actually level up a class and spend the points in a different class. So say you wanted to level up your warrior, but you didn't want to really play as your wizard right away, you can go around killing things with your warrior and just spend all the points on your wizard. Now, I like the way that all the classes aren't unlocked from the start. You actually have to go out and experience the world to unlock these classes. And that just brings the focus back on adventure. Some of them might be unlocked by doing quests, some of them might be from drops, and other ones you might just find by exploring the world. So you're going to be able to essentially build the character that you want. You're going to be able to mix and match abilities depending on what kind of character you want to play. So let's say you're not satisfied with Leap and you want something a little more devious, a little more evil. You can level up your Shadow Knight and you can replace Leap with Path of Shadows. So much like weapons, items aren't just going to be stats anymore. They're actually going to be able to modify your abilities. Some of them might be able to enhance your abilities. Some of them might actually reduce the cost of certain abilities like Path of Shadows. So you can really customize and you can start to see how abilities and items are really going to start to make a class build for you. Even old school EQ fans have to admit it's really cool to be able to completely customize your class like this. For example, let's say you want to build a character that can completely destroy a mage. You can actually add Path of Shadows, Mana Burn, Spell Reflect, and Unsummon. So you're actually going to want to level up other classes to unlock different abilities to customize your class. I really think it's going to add a level of replayability that we haven't seen in games in a long time. Alright, well that's it for this discussion. I'm interested in knowing what you guys plan on rolling. What kind of combinations are you going to come up with? Have you given any thought into what kind of hybrids you might like? I've always been an Altaholic, so this new class system works for me. I'm really looking forward to it and I can't wait to keep bringing you guys more up-to-date videos. As soon as I get information, I'm going to be bringing out videos and I'm kind of running out of content now. There really isn't much that's left to discuss. So I think the series is probably going to slow down a little bit, but hopefully they give us a little bit more information to keep the momentum going. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.